I'm Mary Post. I'm on the board of Ironwork Farm. We have the two historic properties, including the 1707 Faulkner Homestead behind you and the Jones Tavern. We have molasses cookies here today because these were like the unofficial cookies of the Civil War. Molasses was cheap and available and a popular sweetener, and these are cookies that would travel well, so women would make these and send them to their menfolk who were fighting the Civil War. And they would also be something that the common soldier could afford to buy in camp when the settlers set up camp. The more expensive goods and the pricier things would go to the officers' mess. This is a booklet about two Acton soldiers who both served in the Union Army. Aaron Jones Fletcher, the farm boy in the title, served throughout the war, and his diary from the first year, which told about his participation in the Battle of New Orleans, is in the Acton Memorial Library, along with the letters that he saved from his mother and his cousins and sisters who wrote to him throughout the war. So, in addition to giving a portrait of a soldier's life, it also tells us a lot about farm life in Acton during the 1860s. His parents had a small farm. They had a diverse economy, but a lot of it was subsistence. They were raising hogs, they had dairy cattle, they had chickens. His mother was very, very proud of her turkeys that she raised and sold. And they planted not a large farm, but a variety: corn, oats. Most of the vegetables that they ate, they raised themselves.
This is what I'm doing. I'm making rag dolls. And but this was something that they did back in colonial days when they had scraps of fabric that was left over, or an old dress, and they couldn't do anything more with it. They would make rag dolls with it. So that's what I'm doing. And right now I'm cutting the material down so that the kids can just grab the material rather than waiting for me to rip it down.
And it's a beehive oven, as you would commonly find here in early America or even modern day. And the insides, the beehive oven would be in the chimney wall of the foundation in many of the early buildings. So that this is the kind of sourdough breads or bread baking that would be seen in about the period of this reenactment. Well, I can show you, you can see inside if you want. All right, and she's cutting the bread. They made that just a few minutes ago.
Bread bag. That's for Frank.
Or would you rather
Can
have
I
a
have
crust?
one from me?
You want a crust?
No, I want
or
the
a
squishy middle.
squishy middle.
Oh yeah. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Bye, have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Andy. I'm from Mothertown Quilters in Lancaster, Massachusetts, and I'm here to help support Ironwork Farm in their wonderful attempt to maintain these historic properties. My guild, members of my guild, have made some quilts that we're raffling off. This one to raffle is a reproduction Civil War soldiers quilt, and the other ones are for display, just to show people the different methods of creating. Each block is made individually and quilted and bound individually, and then the two pieces are put together and whip stitched together, and eventually will be put together, all of them, to make one big quilt. It was a way for women to work on a quilt quickly, to get it done for the soldiers very quickly.
Shoulder, arms. In 2 ranks. Form company by the right. Double file. Right, face. March. About face. Right, dress. In each rank, count 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
Charge! Cartridge! Okay, you can start. Draw! Rammer! Ram! Cartridge!
But basically, if they weren't on
Return
an active
the
campaign,
river.
they would be drilling and drilling and drilling, and it would all come second nature to them.
Fire!
In a line of battle, when you're in the battlefield conditions, for the most part, you will fire at will. After you fire the first round, you can load and fire at your discretion. Unless you fire, the command is given to do it a different way.
Ready! Hey! Fire!
Good balling.
Shoulder! Arm!
That was firing by company. There were other ways to fire the weapons.
Somebody ready! Firing by files! Commence! Fire!
Hey!
Hey! Hey!
Hey! Fire!
Independent fire now. Come on, load them up and fire. Load them up and
Now
fire.
you can see how that would work progressively down the line. These guys up here are already loading. So if you had another 10 guys down there, number 1 rank would already be firing down. You fire the weapon that you see.
Fire! Finish loading. Loading, guys. Come to the ready.
These are fully functional weapons. They're reproductions for the most part. However, I do believe there's one individual out here that has an original. But they're fully functional. They will take a round.
Shoulder.
And the round, oh, I haven't got a round with me. They're 58 caliber soft lead. If it hits a bone, unlike today's rounds that are steel jacketed, where it'll go through the bone, the lead ball will shatter the bone. That's why there was a lot of amputations in those days, because they did not have the medical knowledge on how to repair things. 58 caliber is about the size of your thumb. When it hits something, it spreads out to be probably 3 to 4 times bigger than your thumb.
Doesn't matter.
Ho! Come on, you,
Come on, guys, the middle. Let's go.
in 2 ranks, right? Peace! Go left. Ha! Somebody. Ho! Front. Right. Dress. Front. Present. Ha!
Before we come back into camp, before the company is dismissed, we make sure that there's no powder in those weapons. Now, how do we do that? We do that by just putting a cap on. We might do it once, we might do it 2 times, we might do it 3 times, until you hear a distinct. Now, you might have heard all the caps going off. Somebody in there might have had a bad cap that didn't fire his powder the first time around. So that's how we find out whether the powder is going or not. When we were in a battalion formation, you might have 2 or 3 guys powder burn off. That's why we do it more than once, capping. As I started to say, next weekend, the 26th, in Lincoln, Rhode Island, we celebrate Confederate Memorial Day. It's basically the first time out for the battalion. We will have battalion drill. 8 o'clock each morning when we go out on the weekends, the companies drill themselves. At 10 o'clock, all companies fall in and they do a battalion drill. Unlike the Union counterpart, they go out and they do company drill, but as of now, they still do not do a battalion drill, so they can't work as a battalion.
Inside. That's Damon Mill. They used to make Civil War uniforms there. Oh, yeah.
My name is Stuart Chambers. Everybody calls me Chip. I'm the only son out of 5 kids. This is a good friend of mine, Woody.
Hey there.
And we're part of a group called the Shades of Gray. Woody plays the fiddle with the group. I'm a novice, but I play the banjo. And there's about 8 to 10 people in the group. We're with the 12th Georgia. We're Confederate reenactors. And it didn't start off with me that way. I was up here at the same event last year, and I was a Yankee. And my great-grandfather served in the 51st Massachusetts Volunteer Militia, Worcester County Regiment, and he served down in New Bern, North Carolina. So I've been researching not only him, but the entire regiment of 966 men. And I've been at that since the year 2000. But getting back to this group today, we're still waiting for the Yankees to show up. We've got most of the group out on skirmish out in the back there, and we're just enjoying this wonderful day. It's beautiful out, and it's a lot warmer than it was last year.
With a skirmish drill, every other man takes 4 steps forward. After he gets placed, and if there's any enemy around, he fires. The man that didn't move moves 4 steps in front of him. They fire. In the meantime, the ones that have fired already have reloaded, and they go up to the next step. They take another 4 steps. So it's always a 4-step forward. It's an advance. If the one company is using the skirmishers, you got 25 men going out at a time. Remember I said there was a 50-man front. So you got 25 men, and then 25 4 paces behind. So forth down the line. Same thing on a retreat. You would retreat the same way, orderly. So that you got a constant line of fire, you're keeping the enemy's head down. The 12th Georgia has some new people in their ranks, so it might take a little bit of time to get them organized as far as doing a skirmish drill. That's one of the things where this is a good time frame for us, because we get to drill and not only get the cobwebs out of the old timers, but to also let the new folk know what's going on and how to do it. So that when we do go out on the field, we work as a complete uniformity unit.
How did you all choose to be the 12th Georgia?
What's that?
How did you all choose to be the 12th Georgia instead of any other unit?
When I started, I'm a member of the 12th, and when I started, there was not a battalion. It was just a whole bunch of companies together. And I picked the 12th Georgia because of the locale. It was close to me. I didn't want to go blue. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I saw a lot of parallels between the Civil War and Vietnam. They had their draft riots. We had Kent State. We weren't permitted to win. They weren't allowed to win. If you were a Confederate veteran at the end of the war, chances are you were not allowed to work down south, because the Yankee carpetbaggers brought all their friends down. If you were a Vietnam veteran in the 66, 67, 68, 69 time frame, we were drug addicts and baby killers. If you put it on your resume, the chances are you were going to get circular files and not get hired. So I just saw a lot of things going on between them. They had a president killed afterwards. We had a president killed before. So that's why I went with the gray. And after 3 or 4 years, we formed a battalion. At one point, we could probably put 350 to 400 Confederates in the field. See, they spread out.
You loaded? Oh, you can shoot the cat. I want to shoot the cat. Are you ready? Oh, yeah. You have a cat in there? Yeah. Your rank goes.
Confederacy is going out in that way. Skirmish line. They will move 5 feet, 5 paces ahead, fire. The troops behind them will move another 5 ahead of them, so on and so forth down the line. Hopefully we can disgorge these little blue mosquitoes that we have up here. Notice when one fires, the other one will walk up ahead of him while the first one reloads.
All right, well, my name is Stefan Duda.
I'm Kevin Sager.
And we're with the 12th Georgia Volunteer Infantry Regiment. We're here at Faulkner House in Acton, Massachusetts. And we just put on a field demonstration.
Of skirmishes in the woods. We laid out 5 paces apart and we did a forward march while firing.
That would be normal procedure if a company was advancing on the battlefield.
They would use it when they were outnumbered usually to wait for the base of the army to come up and bring up reinforcements. Or while they were retreating, they would also do it if they were falling backwards in the same motion.
So we come here every year to put on a skirmish for the people of Acton here at Faulkner House. The 12th Georgia is a non-profit organization where we reenact the Civil War. The 12th Georgia was a real live Confederate regiment that was put together in 1861 and disbanded at the end of the war.
A lot of little short things that make bumps.
That's been pretty fast.
If you wore it, it'd be scratchy.
Cool.
Where does it come out?
What's this?
Where does it come out?
It comes out here and winds on. See, it's turning gray
What's
down there.
this?
It was brown before. That's called a niddy-noddy.
Niddy-nobby?
A niddy-noddy, or yarn winder. That's for...
Yes, this is called harmonic vibration. And if you hold one side of it, it goes in one direction, and if you press your thumb up against it, it will go in the other direction. Harmonic vibration.
Here's my pins. I'm pinning myself into my gown now. If I can only see. The other thing is, I don't know how they did this without mirrors. Because you have to pin yourself into your corset and into your gown.
They did it every day is the secret.
Yeah, they did it every day.
They did it every day. They
So
didn't
these
need to
little,
see.
which I now have pinned in the wrong place.
Pretty much cooked.
Snap, this covers up the connection between the gown and the stomacher, which is a separate piece. And you pin yourself all in here and then you're good to go. It's really wacky.
Well,
you pin it right to the stays.
They needed to invent the zipper.
Yes, they did. They didn't even use buttons, though. That's so much.
Yeah.
You'd see it on men's clothes, but they weren't really used to to hold your clothes together so much as their jackets and their
They
waistcoats.
were sort of little for show.
Yeah, and they were metal, for the most part metal.
This is called carding, and after the sheep is shorn and after the wool has been treated and washed, you take your cards, you put your fleece on the cards, and then you pull your 2 cards together. And what this does is it pulls all the fibers together. So now you get this nice piece of fleece which is all together. And after this has been carded a while, so this hasn't been carded very long, this is a lot easier to spin with because everything's together, and as you spin, this is going to be twisted together. Makes it a lot easier.
This banjo has been restored, and it's got a patent date on it from 1884, so it's not quite Civil War, but it's close. Want to do Ring Ring the Banjo?
Sure, go ahead and play it.
Something like that.
In 1775 was the commemorative date and the date of the first casualties of the Revolutionary War in Massachusetts. The men first killed were from Acton. Then in 1861, the first casualties of the Civil War, also men from Massachusetts, killed in the Baltimore riots, first casualties. So Patriots Day is a commemorative of both events. And we try to remember that today.